Ever heard of a love-hate relationship? Well, that's the very definition of one of the most prominent aspects of our life in the 21st century. Our relationship with technology. Technology has changed the way we operate and manage our relationships with others. Now, whether this is for the better or for the worst, well, that's up for debate. How has technology shaped the way we view things about the world? How has video rewired our brains to see perspectives in an all-new light? To answer these questions, I had to go back to the start. My relationship with video began at a very early age. When I was growing up, my dad had a video camera that he never put down. One of those big RCA VHS tape recorders that you had to lug over your shoulder.
Jamie, look this way, Jamie.
My parents recorded every moment, every holiday, every performance, every game. Even on just a regular day, the camera would be rolling. I always wanted to play with the camera. It seemed so exciting. When I was 9 years old, he finally let me use it while he was working on a house.
Oops.
A major factor in my sense of self is reflected in the times I spent getting a glimpse of who I was in the past. It's helped me realize how I've become the person I am today. As I prepared to pursue video in college, my thoughts kept going back to my childhood. All those hours spent in front of the TV and behind the camera. I thought, well, what specific purpose does video technology serve for us today? And then I stumbled upon the film Connected by Tiffany Shlain. It practically rewired my brain to a whole new way of thinking about the world and about our technology.
The film explores the history of civilization and our history of connectedness and interdependence, what it looks like today, where are we going, interwoven with kind of my own story.
Shlain provides a positive outlook on where our species is heading, how technology has helped aid in social equality, and how this can help solve our world's problems. I was introduced to the word interdependence, the fact that everything in our world is related to one another and every little change has a significant impact. As technology continues to improve, so does our overall social equality. With all these ideas floating around, I felt so compelled to just share them with everyone I know. So I decided to make this film, to spread the message of interdependence and to explore our relationship with technology from the alphabet to the World Wide Web.
5 o'clock, I try to wake up on my bed. I'm tired but I'm going through. I'm fine, I know the dream come true. Keep facing you. At 5 o'clock, I try to wake up on my bed. I'm tired but I'm going through. I'm fine, I know the dream
The
come
first few documentary films I made explored the ways in which technology was affecting our relationships with others and with our environments. Black and Bluetooth and Plugged Into Love looked at how our relationships are fundamentally changing due to the new communication devices. I've always told people that I have a love-hate relationship with technology. We're all still trying to figure out how to find that balance between our relationships with our devices and our relationships with actual people.
I still think that there's more opportunity, between Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and YouTube and Vimeo and all these places. There's so much information.
The good thing about technology is it's allowing us to connect to each other and to get information, and it's having to teach us how to be web literate and information literate.
The connection that you can have with people online from all over the world is really mind-blowing to me. And I'm still trying to grasp and understand how that's functioning and how that works.
There's definitely some areas for pause and concern. You'll get more ideas out there and you'll get more conflicting ideas out there. So more venues and avenues for us to kind of understand each other a little bit.
The more that people can connect to each other and educate each other about what life in a different place looks like, the better off we're going to be.
That's my greatest hope, is that we can start to use technology for areas of cultural exchange.
There's the pros and the cons. Of course I want everyone to have internet access, but with that also comes with everything that is available out there. And there's a lot available out there that is not for social change.
Technology can certainly be viewed as a Faustian bargain. It has its pros and its cons. I believe that if we take the pros and amplify them, then we will ultimately unlock the door to a better world with a greater sense of social equality for all. It amazes me how I can just make a film by sitting at my desk at home, conducting Skype interviews and pulling images and videos from archival websites. Through widespread access to video technologies and the popularity of user-generated video sites, people all around the world are now able to share with the global community a piece of who they are in the world as they see it through their own perspective. In order to better understand the theory behind this relationship between video technology and social equality, we must first take a look at the structure of the human brain.
The brain is divided into two hemispheres, the left and the right. Leonard Shladen's book, The Alphabet versus the Goddess, discusses how masculine traits are associated with the left side of the brain, the side that allows us to see patterns and view things in solidarity, one piece of the puzzle at a time. Whereas the right side of the brain can be considered more feminine, it allows us to view things altogether as the whole picture, the completed puzzle. When we view images and pictures, we use our right brain to make sense of what we see. When we read and write, we use our left brain to view the patterns of letters and words to form meaning.
I like to think of the left brain as a one-at-a-time brain, that it processes information in a one thing after another. It's about time. In contrast to the right hemisphere, which perceives the world all at once as a gestalt.
This theory assumes that with the birth of literacy, patriarchal society formed. Today, however, we are seeing a shift in ideology. Throughout U.S. history, close parallels have been drawn between technology and social movements. Photography and film were popularized in the years prior to 1920, the same time the women's rights movement was occurring. The civil rights movement similarly correlates with the period when television became widespread and commercially available. And furthermore, today in the 21st century, we see strides in the LGBT rights movement. The internet has allowed for greater awareness of the queer community. It has allowed for a global awareness of all communities of people.
One of the major factors in this awareness and perspective sharing is the prevalence of user-generated video sites such as YouTube.
You have these opportunities for people to share their own worlds with other people through YouTube and sites like that allow you to just upload video directly from your cell phone onto the internet, and then people can see your world.
YouTube is host to countless videos that show positive representations of people who happen to identify as gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, or queer.
40 more comments, okay.
Jamie would like, or could you talk about your opinions, thoughts about how video is used as a tool to help raise awareness and perspective for LGBT people? That's like a whole video to sum up. Like, YouTube is awesome because it's another platform for people to communicate.
Because you receive mail from people, and you'll get comments, and you'll get emails of how you've actually affected somebody's life, how you've actually saved their life, how you have changed them and everything.
One of the most notable examples of how online video can be used to make change is the It Gets Better project that was started by Dan Savage in September of 2010.
The It Gets Better project is an opportunity for people who are questioning their sexuality or have come to a place where they identify and they are feeling isolated and alone, and it's a place to get reminded that life gets better.
The campaign was brilliant, and what I loved about it is that it went so mainstream. I mean, it virally just blew up.
I know really has saved people's lives and made such a huge difference for people around the world. I know it has.
That to me was a really cool example. It was a really, it was that moment where I realized, wow, there's something really special happening here.
Our brains are being rewired as we scroll through web pages, viewing images, reading posts, watching videos, using both our left and right hands to type. Our brains are resynthesizing. This reconfiguration can be seen as the force behind our ability to now see the bigger picture, to realize that everything in our world is interdependent.
You know, we're not a United States citizen, we're a citizen of the world now, and so to think that what happens there isn't going to impact us is crazy.
For me, I think film is a really effective storytelling medium, and then really, especially documentary, it gives you a window into someone else's life. And if you can just look through that window and see what's happening in that world a little bit, it'll make you a little more empathetic to what's going on there.
Being able to open up the doors and let people know how it is in the rest of the world, and what we can do to help and how we can support is just so important.
The internet is such a vast place. It is also still very young. We are at the beginning of a major turning point in the course of human history. Yet, we still have quite a ways to go. According to ahumanright.org, 68% of our planet, that's 4.6 billion people, still live without internet access.
I think there's still a tremendous amount of work that can be done. For so many communities, it's such a hassle to get to a computer that has, I mean, I think I've been in developing countries and those internet cafes in places like Thailand or Cambodia, they're packed.
When you have really isolated communities that are getting connected for the first time, just the simple ability to be able to communicate with people, whether it's internet or with cell phones or even just roads that allow us to travel from place to place, to see our relatives and loved ones, we take that for granted.
If I lived in isolation, just this would be huge for me. Just being able to Skype and to connect and, in that way.
It doesn't surprise me that is the large number of people that don't have internet access. One thing that is changing is that a lot of people are starting to have access to phones. I can see people even using their phones to create videos for change.
People are actually chronicling what's going on and then sharing the truth and broadcasting to the world.
I think we're also getting a lot of information and resources of what's happening in countries with high levels of poverty because of the technology, because of the access to video.
So can you imagine what it's like to be in a hostile place like Uganda, where you can be killed for being identifying as gay, or even expressing or appearing gay, or being perceived as gay? The transformation for those communities will be huge.
Creating videos and sharing your experiences opens up your perspective to the world. If we could get the entire world connected, we would see a much greater widespread global equality emerge.
The exercise I do in all of my classes and open all of my classes is the question, if you could change the world, what would you do? And my answer is education. If I can show you different perspectives and angles on something, and it changes how you think or feel or motivates you or inspires you to do something, to me that's the change that it needs to occur.
With such a wealth of information we have out on the internet, I'd like to see people sort of making a point to engage with other points of view, with opinions that are different from their own.
Moving forward, I would love to see more discussion and more exploration into issues surrounding class. It's the next big thing on the to-do list in terms of social justice.
The change I want to see in the world is where people come to full acceptance and love of each other.
That's perfect.
That's it for me.
The change I want to see is education for everyone and access to education for everyone, from pre-kinder to the college level, and just free education and free access to it. So the more someone is educated, the more change we can see.
Using video as a tool for social change is something that we can all do to help make our world a better, safer, and happier place. So get out your cameras, get out your phones, and don't wait. Create. Tell the change you want to see in the world. Even a 7 or 15-second video has an impact. Together, we can reframe the mind of the world.
I love you so, I can't let you go.
Oh wait, you're cutting in and out.
And then, or okay, hello?
Hi, hello?
Am I there?
Yep.
I'm there.
Sorry.
I can hear you.
I knew this technology,
It's not perfect yet.
It's not perfect.